But we got one more to go to make my prediction this morning. Weatherman didn't stand a chance again at 15, knew that. But Barbara, well, she's in the 19, so we'll see how we go. Still plenty of day though, right? Tuesday, July 28th, and we absolutely going to go live right now. All the way over to Nashville, and believe me, I'm very, very excited about this. And for you guys that are joining us live on Facebook right now, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, if you're going to be watching on YouTube, subscribe, smash that like button, and hit the little bell thing. You know what I mean. Let's do this. We're going straight away, would you believe, to Nashville. Yeah, we are. Jules Santa Bonairs, did I get that right, Santa Bonairs?
Yeah, that's great. Good job.
I practiced it all night 1 month just to see if I could get it right. Also, TJ Cates. TJ, nice to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you too, buddy. Thanks for having us.
It is an absolute pleasure. And Jill, big respect to you because, believe me, we have been... You've been the source of a little bit of entertainment for us because we've been doing a few interviews at your suggestion. I got to give you props, I really do. Jane Madison, for instance, love those girls.
Thank you. They're fabulous.
They're so great.
They're from Texas, and they actually graduated at Belmont University here in Nashville recently. They're twins, and they harmonize amazingly together. And I'm sure you've heard their music, and they're wonderful. So yeah, they're a part of our roster. We're blessed to have them, and thank you so much for interviewing them.
Well, you know something? It was actually the track Down, if I remember right. That's the right song.
Nice.
It was actually that one note that sold me right away. You know the note that she sings, and believe me, she holds it so well. I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. I have been for a number of years, not only doing studio, but front of house, touring around the world with a number of bands as well, and a DJ as well. So I don't listen to music as a normal fan would. I kind of listen to it, you know, industrially. I break it down, try and figure it out, everything like that. That note was the one that sold me and went, okay, I want to talk to these girls. Now, I got to thank you for that. Now, I want to ask you, because you guys have a record label, how did you get into the record business?
Well, go ahead, TJ.
We practiced this answer. Let me see if I get it right. Well, we're both really active on social media. We have a good following. We have a good rapport. And what we did is we had some artists that wanted to work with us and wanted us to kind of take the lead, because there's, just as far as Nashville, there's a lot of people out there to promote you, and there's a lot of people out there that maybe aren't promoting, but they just asked us. They said, can you get us on the radio? And we're like, we can learn. So we've learned, and over the past 3 or 4 years, you've seen how Jill does. She reaches out to people. There's also platforms that we can pay to be on, and we also give them a chance of doing that. But she just has a really good personal connection, like with you and Barbara, as far as with radio stations around the world. And I don't see anybody else in Nashville doing that.
You know, I got to agree. I've really got to agree. And Jill, as I said to you, props for you. Because believe me, we absolutely love the talent that you're finding and passing on to us. Please continue doing that, won't you?
Definitely. I appreciate that.
We absolutely love it. Now, I want to talk about, of course, National Entertainment Wkly. You're both co-owners and creators of it. Of course, Comcast Channel 49, Fridays 10:30 to 11 p.m. Tell me a little bit about that. What exactly are you Comcasting? What is Comcast?
Well, actually, it's funny. We keep getting bigger, and we get picked up on more networks. Now we're actually on a network that's owned by the city of Nashville, the mayor, and his people were watching what we're doing. You know, we're building up. Everybody loves Blake and Miranda. Everybody loves Carrie Underwood and Keith Urban, especially from down south. I know he's from Australia and New Zealand. I know the difference. But we're looking forward. Everybody's looking forward. They want to see the next faces that are going to make it. You know, that's when they watch America's Got Talent, American Idol, all that kind of stuff. So what we do is we bring them the big stars, but we also bring them the ones that are worthy, like the ones that we send you. I mean, I think they all have a really good chance, and we're very selective with who we work with. We get reached out to 3 or 4 people a night, like you do. So we're very selective. So we started our show interviewing on the red carpet, getting big names, which got us a following, going out to singer-songwriter nights in Nashville, hearing the story behind the music from the songwriters, and giving them a platform to share. And we put them on television now on the Nashville Arts Network, and we come on every single Sunday night. And what we do is we mix an Opry star or like a big A1 Steven Tyler or Mel Smith, and then we'll put an up-and-coming artist. And then we add a music video from one of our artists. We like to mix it up. It's like a pizza, man. Y'all have pizza down there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we don't call it pie. We do call it pizza.
Oh, good.
You don't call it pizza pie. I don't either. I call it pizza. It's pizza.
Yeah.
It's Friday night food.
Exactly. Absolutely. Got to agree. Got to agree with you there. At the same time, Jill, I want to talk to you about the Nashville Entertainment Wkly PR promotions, events, music and film. Tell me about that, because that twigs my imagination. It really does. Barbara runs a company called Aurora Entertainments that brings bands into the country, tours them around, does all the hard work, the hard graft, right down to getting visas, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm always interested in how other people do it. Tell me a little bit about how you managed to do all of this with the promotions involved.
Yeah, so when we first started, of course, our TV show, Nashville Entertainment Wkly, and then artists started coming up to us asking about management, which was really, you know, helping them with social media, getting their music out there on digital distribution. And then they said, you know, we'd love for you guys to help us get to radio. So then we started our record label. And then with our PR company, it really made sense because we had more than just artists. Like TJ connected with author Mark Grisham, who's the brother to the famous author John Grisham. So Mark is a client of ours, and TJ is actually turning Mark's book, helping him turn Mark's book into a film. And he's been talking to Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta and multiple production companies here in Nashville as well. So besides our record label, besides, you know, bringing our artists to radio, we also have public relations, so we can work with more than just artists and offer interviews, television interviews, radio interviews. And with Mark, Mark Grisham, the author, we've helped him get book signings and just a variety of different things where, you know, and of course social media assistance and just things that we can definitely help with and we have experience in. So, and he's actually our first author that we've worked with, but we've reached out to numerous different kinds of clients just with, you know, all a variety of things. So I think PR kind of encompasses just helping people get their company, we work with companies, or just get their brand out there.
The first question we ever ask anybody is, what do you need help with? Because everybody has something that they're not capable of doing it.
Right.
And Jill and I are both really good at working as a team, and we can actually go out there. And I've been here and I've been beating the streets for years, and I know pretty much somebody that does everything, and I'll call them and I'll ask them, because we return a lot of favors. And we'll say, you know, okay, I've got a client that wants this. How can we, here, this is it. You know, we connect the dots really easily so that they can go be creative. You know, the artists need to be creative every day. They don't need the business side of it. We're the business side of it.
You know, That's fascinating to me. It really, really is. Now, at the same time, these are kind of surreal times right now, especially with this COVID virus thing going on. How is it in Nashville right now? Well, what's happening down on the ground there?
They're closing the bars at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and everybody has to wear a mask, and they have everybody scared to death. And it is what it is. I mean, it's out there, and it's a real thing. It's not getting everybody, and everybody that's getting it's not. It's just, it's a little bit hysteria right now. And I wish that they would just let us get back to the part of making money for artists. We lost artists that were playing on the stages. They would be selling pizza, not pizza pie, but pizza at lunchtime and waiting tables and playing for free for tips at night. When they lost their day job, they lost their night job too. And we lost so many, man, I'm telling you, we lost hundreds, if not thousands, of artists out there. So I really wish
not a real personal artist, but just people in Nashville.
We need to reinvent right now, and it's nationwide. So we actually found a way that when I saw what was going on, because I've lived a couple of years, I told Jill, listen, something weird's happening. We need to reinvent. So we put our studio back in our house, and we kind of recalculated. So we started doing Skype interviews like this, and we started helping artists that need to get radio play, because radio is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Radio hasn't stopped.
So we picked up the radio.
God bless you all. Yeah, it hasn't stopped.
So for what you're doing, more than you'll ever know you're helping out Nashville just by constantly putting your content out there.
Well,
You're an inspiration. So many people quit, man. You can't just quit and wait for your $1,200. You got to work every day.
Exactly.
So you're doing great, man.
Exactly. Well, I thank you for that, DJ. I really, really do. But at the same time, you see, if it wasn't for great artists, and believe me, I know what you mean about being selective. We are very, very selective here. And I really don't know how Barbara does this, but she gets about 30 bands a day. And,
wow.
you know, we've only got a certain amount of time in a week to be able to do these interviews.
Right.
So she whittles them down, and then her in production sort of sorts something out. Then it goes to a board. They're interested in our image. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be good.
Yeah.
Can't be below a certain standard. So then it comes to me, and I feel sorry for anybody because then it does come to me. But I don't know anything about it. I get it on a little device. I play in my car and go driving and listening to it. Believe me, I've got a really nice stereo in my car. But having said that, two reasons for that, literally. First reason is nobody else can influence me on whether or not I want to do the interview. Second reason is nobody really wants to drive with me.
You talked about race cars. Go cover your race cars. Tell me about your rail cars. Tell me that real quick. What are you talking about? Muscle cars? What are you talking about?
We did the lot, my friend. Literally, I tell you what, when I was a little younger and a little more mischievous, I actually stole the engine out of a school bus and stuck it in a Mini.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did.
That's a huge engine.
I was sitting in the back seat going for it. Hoping like hell I didn't get caught because, believe me, it was fun to steal too. It really
Oh
was.
my gosh.
I had to put a battery in Jill's Jeep. She never drives her Jeep anymore. She's working out of the house 7 days a week, and it'll go a week or two, and she never drives. And I bought a new truck, and she took the baby to go get a shot the other day. She said, my battery's dead, and I took it out and got it tested. The doctor came out, Green Hills, which is where Reba and Rascal Flatts and Big Kid, they all live, and I'm sitting there with two hoods up and trying to boost off, and the doctor came out.
Thank goodness we were home.
But I mean, as a kid, I'm like you, man. If something was broken, alternator, starter, solenoid switch, battery, carburetor, you take it off, and if you can't work on it, you take it to somebody to fix it, and you put it back on. I feel like that's going to be a lost art. It makes me sad. I love your stories.
You know, I kind of agree. I really, really do. But I'm not really the one to talk to about race cars. Barbara's son is a New Zealand champion.
Oh my gosh.
Literally.
Congratulations, Barbara.
Oh, thank you.
And her family, her son's family, literally are in the game, and the young boys coming up through the ranks, taking away trophies taller than I am, and I'm about 6'2", you know what I mean? So, believe me, very, very talented.
That's so cool, man. I'm glad you know that. Yeah, I want the younger generation to know how to work on cars. I've taught my nephews and my son, everybody knows how to, and I believe in that.
Yeah.
Believe me, here in New Zealand, that art isn't dead unless you've got a Japanese car and very, very small hands.
Yes, like mine.
Literally.
And Japanese cars, you know, I used to have a Toyota, and nothing was ever wrong with it. It was like self-sufficient. Just put gas in it, and you know, get an oil change every 6 months, and it was perfect. It drove perfectly. And the only reason that I got a bigger car was because he started putting lumber in my Toyota, and I said, this is going to hurt the resale value.
You know, Corollas can carry a good, they can carry a 2x4 value.
No.
Fence Ford.
So we got a Jeep, and now he has a
We're
truck.
in the South. It doesn't matter how you get the lumber home. It just matters if you get the lumber home.
No.
Jill, let me tell
That
you,
sounds very
men are the
cute.
same across the world.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with TJ. I really am, to be honest
So
with
funny.
you. Yeah, we are. But at the same time, you know, this is really not the kind of interview that I would normally do, and I got to tell you why. Normally, I'm talking to indie artists, playing their music, everything like this. Today, a little bit special. It really, really is. And I want to talk about Nashville Real Estate TV. Both co-hosts and also founders of the Nashville Real Estate TV, and also #1 real estate television show, Comcast, Channel 49, 10 a.m. to 10:30 on a Sunday in Nashville. Tell me about this, because I'm very interested.
Okay. I've been a realtor for 25 years, a home builder, a mortgage broker, and all that. I love real estate. I love when you're selling. Did mortgages for a while, and it was paperwork. It wasn't tangible. I like construction and building. I'm very blue collar. I wear suits and everything, but I love blue collar. I've got a farm in our backyard that I'm steadily tending. But back about before the crash, I don't know if they had it down there, 2006, 2008, everything kind of crashed with real estate because of the loans. Before that, we had a show in Memphis, and we didn't have virtual tours. They'd go out and interview a real estate agent. They'd go and do some video pickup shots. Now we have these beautiful virtual tours and drones and going inside with gliding perfect. And we're talking about $4, $5, $10 million houses in Nashville. I mean, that's like it's hard to find a house under $1 million anymore. Not that they're worth it, like there may be 1,000 square feet, but it depends on where it is.
Location.
Where we live, the dirt is worth $500,000. You can bulldozer a house down, and the dirt can be sold the next day. But what I found is it helps me get new clients to work with, but also it's a really pretty show. We have beautiful homes, and we alternate the different style homes, an entry-level home, a condo down in the Gulch on the 20th floor, the big estate homes, on 50, 60 acres. So it's a really pretty show. And then we have industry experts. We have
Aaron Schroeder,
Tennessee Home Inspections, and he does 10 tips. Every week he does a 1-minute tip. He's a home inspector. He tells people how to do maintenance on their house, how to change your air filter, how to look for mold, how to work for these things, what is radon gas. And then we have a heat and air guy that kind of gives you tips on heat and air. We have a mortgage person that tells you how to qualify. And so it's kind of an informative. It's 20.5 minutes. We actually got picked up by the CW network last year, which is a really big deal for us. So that's why I said every year we work harder. Every year we see more results. And we try to put that between us. I try to get that with the artists that we work with, the singer-songwriters. So, like, you may not break out and be the biggest thing this year, but if you work 86,400 seconds in a day, if you work the majority, if you work 4 or 5 hours on your craft, even if you have to have a day job, and you have to sleep, and you have to drink wine with your friends on the patio, there's enough time to get there and study your craft and work every single day. I can't stand it. When the bars were open at 3 o'clock, I was like a hall monitor. I would go down Broadway or go down Music Row, and if I saw an artist, I would take note. Okay, if that guy ever calls me and asks him, he's shooting fireball at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He should be songwriting. The VMI studio is right behind there. So we're all about work. And when she does it, I do it. That's how we found each other. We have a good work ethic, and that's how you and Barbara, I'm sure you're the same way. But the real estate show is excellent. I love it. I love doing it. We like being on television. I edit it. It takes about a day to put all the videos together because I don't shoot them. I have a friend of mine that shoots all of them, and he sends them in high def, and then I have to render them, and I do the text overlay, and I do the transitions. So we produce 1 hour of all new TV programming every Sunday. Real estate show in the morning and our entertainment show at night.
That's fascinating.
So we stay pretty busy, man.
Yeah, believe me, I believe you. I really do. And I'm fascinated. I really, really am. And I can relate to how involved it would be to be able to put one of those shows together. I really, really do. Now, at the same time, I'm being told in my head, how do we get hold of you? If people wanted to be able to invest in, say, some realty, or maybe an artist wants to get a hold of you, Jill, are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? But more importantly,
the easiest way is websites, don't you think?
Yes, we have our website, which is NashvilleEntertainmentWeekly.com, and people can just contact us there, drop us a message. It'll get to both of us. So whatever they need, they just let us know, and we can definitely respond.
If it's a record label, it's PR, you want to be on the show or anything like that, it's NashvilleEntertainmentWeekly.com. Everything we have.
Right.
I started it whenever, 6 years ago when I did the red carpet. I was in the movie with Ray Liotta. I wanted to meet him. Glenn Campbell, they were having this documentary right then, and lots of big bands were coming in and people, and I got to cover the red carpet for Met Jill. And I was running TMZ. I was running TMZ for Nashville when I moved here because I was working for HBO in Memphis. But I like it in front of the camera a lot. So Nashville Entertainment Weekly Records, Nashville Entertainment Weekly PR, NashvilleEntertainmentWeekly.com. And the real estate is easy. NashvilleRealEstateTV.com. Is that right? I don't know. It might be TV5. I think it's Nashville TV5. TJCatesRealtor.com.
absolutely. Yeah.
They were all over social media.
Unfortunately, now you're going to get a whole heap of people going, how do I buy a house? Let's go to TJ.
Well, I would like to sell some Airbnbs to some people down in New Zealand, man. You're talking about $300 or $400 a square foot. And then we have Airbnbs in Destin, Florida. We have some all over the United States. So I can sell anywhere in the state of Tennessee. Tons of vacation property in Gatlinburg. Lots of cabins and big houses for sale. Those things are booked year round, especially with the COVID right now. Everybody wants to leave their house but stay within their family.
Well, yeah, here's a crazy idea. Why don't you come to New Zealand, come and meet up with us? Why don't we have a look around here and then pitch the idea to Kiwis? What do you reckon?
I was going to take a bus, but somebody stole the engine out of the van. I can't even get down there.
Damn school. Here's something vicariously was really, really freaky. Now, we're talking about the school bus. It was from one of my schools down in the South Island where I was brought up. Now,
Oh my gosh.
Barbara comes to work this morning. She says, Grant, you're never going to believe this. And I went, what? She goes, somebody that knew and went to school with you at the age of 6 has just friended you. And I went,
Wow.
are you kidding me? She goes, yeah, and she showed me all the details. Unfortunately, I don't remember her, but from way back in those days, and I got to apologise to Marianne, but welcome to Galaxy anyway. Nice to have you. I had no idea that people from way back in 6, I don't look the same, I'm sure of it. You know, it's just weird.
It's hard to remember everybody. It really is. And a lot of people we have on our Facebook, you know, there, of course, some people are from back home. I'm from California, TJ's from Memphis. But, you know, it's hard to recall everybody. It just is.
I don't know. When we go back home, Jill, can't believe that I still have friends over from the 4th and 5th grade, and we remain friends our whole lives. I mean, we're just tight.
It's very
We
sweet.
talk on the phone constantly. Mark Grissom and I are from the same, he and John and I are from the same hometown. We all grew up together. Our parents all knew each other. I mean, everybody's so close. It was a very small community, and now, of course, it's big city. But, yeah, I think Memphis was a great place. My dad had a butcher shop. And Elvis would send over and get steaks to grill out. We would ride by Graceland, and they would be riding the golf carts and go-karts around the big circle. Him and Jerry Lee and John, everybody would. And they had his horses. So, I mean, I love it. But, yeah, that's really cool, man. Have you talked to your buddy that connected with you?
I haven't yet, to be honest with you, I haven't yet, but I'm sure at some stage Barbara will tee something up so that we can at least make a meeting of some sort. She lives in a place called Nelson in the South Island. New Zealand's made up of 3 islands. One is Stewart Island. Got a name. It got a name. Then the originality sort of waned from there, and they called it South Island and North Island, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, we identify that way. But she's in the upper part of the South Island, and, well, just over a few hills, actually, from Westport, where we were brought up, apparently. I really can't remember anything under high school, to be honest with you. It was that kind of place. Having
It's
said...
so sweet. Barbara showed me some pictures of her area, and it's like farmland. It's beautiful.
Oh, she's got a wonderful place. She really, really does. And these animals, believe me, they're the tamest animals in the world. They really, really are.
Wow.
They will chase you all over the place if they think that you've got a crumb on you. You know what I mean?
Precious.
But
Hey, what's Barbara's son's name that races? What's his name?
Anton.
Antonio
Antonio.
Graham,
Yeah. Check him out.
He calls himself Antonio.
but his son
Nice. Exotic.
but his son's just won all the cups at the Speedway.
Oh, his son's
where
just
he's-
won all the cups at the races. Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
where he's,
That's not
races.
unexpected, actually. It really isn't. Very, very talented young man. Learned from his dad, who also learned from his dad, if you know what I mean.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so it's a traditional thing in Barbara's family, it is. And, you know, very, very proud of both Antonio and Zach as well.
Seth.
Sorry, Seth.
You've got a
Got a Zach as well, if you know what I mean. And he does race as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, having said this, we in the very, very near future have a young lady called Sammy coming up for an interview. And
Yes.
Jill, I would love you to tell me a little bit about her.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's actually a junior in high school, and she's still a teenager, and she's so experienced. Her dad is actually he teaches pitching, and his email is actually pitch doctor, which is really neat. So he's softball pitcher. He teaches it, and his daughter Sammy, she's actually doing softball as well, but she also is in pageants. So she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful girl, and we were referred to her by her music teacher, and they're in Alabama.
Santa Steve, Alabama. Sorry.
Mr. Steve.
Mr.
Santa Steve is our
He
neighbor.
also plays Santa.
Yes, he also plays Santa. But anyway, so Sammy is wonderful. She's very lovely. She and her family, and they're very sweet, and we're blessed to work with them too, because she came out with a song that was kind of dedicated to COVID and what the high school kids, were like reflecting back and what they've missed, like they missed their proms and graduation, and they were so affected by it. And she put a video together, which is beautiful. I don't know if we've shared it with you, but it's of all these kids that submitted to be a part of her music video. That graduation pictures and everybody that was experienced in some way by COVID, just kids in high school. And now she's actually come out with a new song called Country Boy that we're promoting. But yeah, she does have those songs on iTunes, and then she's going to come out with a new EP soon. So she's going to have an EP release party.
What's her website?
So SammyLevette.com is her website,
Oh.
and you can find all the information, of course, on her website. But she's wonderful. Thank you so much for scheduling an interview.
Yeah, you enjoy her.
Yeah, I think Barbara said next month you all will have her on your show.
Yeah, I think it's about next month. And at the same time, hasn't she got something happening with The Voice?
She was doing an audition. Last week, I believe she was doing some sort of taped audition, because you can't be there in person. So I think she was doing a tape. She was kind of rehearsing to do her taped audition, and I think she's sending it in. So that's very exciting. I love that things are so virtual now, so you can send something in. Like today, in fact, TJ had an audition with our daughter, with our 1-year-old, and it was all virtual. So he taped it, and then he emailed it in, and then, of course, if he does get the part, he and our daughter get the part, then it's actually going to be, we tape it and then send it in, and that's going to be a commercial. So it's wonderful how all of this connects everybody.
It's for daycare, and they wanted a dad talking about what do I do about daycare, because it's somebody that works out of his house like I do, and they want to put their daughter in daycare, but they're not really sure about it. So it's kind of cool. Jill did the voiceover for us, and we shot it this morning. So,
It was a lot of fun.
I've had the same agent for like 11 years, acting agent, SAG agent, and she asked us to do that. She submitted me, without me even realizing it, she submitted a picture I had with my daughter last week, and they said, yeah, let's get it. So we did an audition this morning. It was different.
I love that. I really, really do. Now, Getting back to Sammy, now, has she had any training for The Voice itself?
Well, you know what, her vocal coach, she's worked with her vocal coach for years, so I'm sure that they've done a lot of competitions, because definitely with even getting ready for pageants, I think that's why she started doing the vocal lessons, and then she realized singing is really a passion of hers, so she started doing it professionally, and then starting to record music professionally, and then now she works with us so we can get it to radio stations like you guys. Thank you so much. And it all comes together. So we're so glad to connect her with you guys, because beyond the U.S., she's getting all the way to New Zealand. So I know that's a big deal for she and her family.
Well, not only here in New Zealand, but 62 countries, 94 cities, I'm being told, around the world right now are listening to us, to be very honest with you. And we supply that.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Pretty much every day. Now, may I suggest maybe I can put a little help here with The Voice, because I have a very close friend of mine who now tutors people who was a finalist on The Voice itself and knows the processes, everything like that.
Yes,
please. That can
Amazing.
just that little bit more polish and being prepared, you know what I mean? And believe me, I'm sure if, Barbara, can you put them in touch with Manny Cabot?
Yeah, I will.
And believe me, You will love him. You really, really will. He's also
Any insight. Thank you. That's appreciated.
He's also a professional photographer as well. And if you know what I mean, that comes in handy as well because it's all part of the marketing team.
Oh, is it? Are you saying Manny Cabo?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We've had him on our show.
Yeah, we know Manny. He's a good guy.
Yes,
He's in
he's
Nashville.
very nice.
Oh, well, there you go. Put her in touch with him. Believe me,
Okay.
he
Think
knows
about
his
that.
stuff.
Great idea.
Yeah, he's a hustler, man. He's a hard worker. He's very talented, very upbeat, very happy, very willing to help other people, and he's doing great things. Yeah, man, he's
He's
a
a
wonderful
great
person.
networker. For
Excellent.
sure.
I
Excellent.
thought that I'd seen him on your one of the photos on your pages. I thought that I recognized him.
Yeah, believe me.
Yes, we're friends with him.
And tell him that I suggested it. Believe me,
Okay.
it will help. It really. Put the blame on
He's
me.
gonna. Oh yeah, he's gonna feel great about that. Thank you.
Nice, nice. Because believe me, I think it would be a great asset to be able to get young Sammy just that little bit closer to the goal.
All you need is just a little bit of edge, man.
Oh yeah, any advantage like that, even talking to somebody and asking what they've gone through and who they talk to, all of that is networking. Like here in Nashville and everywhere, in the U.S. and I'm sure where you guys live too. There's so many award shows that artists can be a part of, and we always tell artists, whatever level of award show it's at, it's always great to network. It's get yourself out there, connect with people, and be a part of it because you never know what's going to happen. Like, I know Manny does a lot of those things, and that's how we actually, through an iHeartMedia show, they had an award show, and then we were actually interviewing all of their winners. So that's how we met him through one of our iHeartMedia, who actually gave us an award as well for top management company. So we were really lucky about that. And so those award shows are wonderful. They connect people, and you just never know who you're going to meet.
That's what we tell people. Don't sit home, not go to movies, try not to go on vacation. And then think I'm crazy, but I mean, don't do anything because the one day you took off is the day somebody else got a break. If you don't, and if you know the music night and you're not invited to do it, great. You don't have to go on stage. You can sit there and network, carry some little CDs, make some connections. And I beg people when they get up on stage, they're so bad about getting on stage and the same 4 or 5 friends they go to school with will listen and play on stage. Then they get off stage and then they'll leave. Or they'll go to a table and rumble. Well, you see those people all day anyway. Get out there and meet everybody else in the crowd because you never know to sit in a crowd in Nashville, man.
Or have somebody film it.
I'll pop in with our camera
Right.
over at Duckworth Depths. I just carried. I was covering an event for some filmmakers at the Duckworth Theater one night, and then we had a break in between. I had like an hour, and I walked across the street and I put on live video on our page. And then some of those artists like, oh my gosh, I made on Nashville Entertainment Wkly. They're sharing it, but it's like, why didn't you film it yourself?
Right.
Why didn't you break out a camera? Why would you sing to 30 people when you could sing to 3,000?
Because when you share it on social media, it's limitless.
So
Where you go.
we teach our artists, and you'll notice something like that. You'll notice a little bit of uniformity there, that they're all being coached constantly because we're telling them these things. And our biggest thing with our artists, and we tell them up front, is communication. If we're texting you and calling you, don't make us text you twice. If you're in school, you're busy, call us back the same day, but never let it roll over because Jill gets made at the last minute, it's made a cancellation.
For an interview or whatever.
And she can't get them on the phone.
Right.
Then they don't need to be with us, man.
Yeah, thank goodness we have like 15 artists, so I'm like, okay, who's available?
Nashville's full of big labels that work with the interns, college interns, that don't really get paid minimum. They work 1 or 2 days a week for 4 hours and they're gone. We don't do that. Everybody has my cell phone. They have Jill's cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to get in touch with us.
There's a lot of texting.
Jill, I can sympathise. I really can. A number of staff members are here going, yeah, we understand about, trying to find somebody at the last minute. At the same time, I got to ask you, are you familiar with the name Steve Baker?
Sounds familiar.
He does come from Nashville. Now, what he does is he takes artists' videos and puts them all in the connected areas, if you know what I mean, like the Hard Rock cafes, the malls, the floating palaces, you name it. You might even go to Burger King, have a burger, and be watching it on the screen as you're eating, if you know what I mean.
Oh, neat.
He's one of those guys.
VIM is his company?
Yes.
Yeah, Visual Image Marketing.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
I need to connect with him a little bit more than I have.
give him a
I'm
phone.
going to my page and I'm seeing, and I go to my messages and see who I'm communicating with. And usually it's everybody, you know, because if our artists need, I tell them to work, I should be working every day too.
Exactly.
That's when Jill stays here working and I'm usually driving around, you know, a couple hundred miles a week, just driving all over Nashville. There's something going on. And I'll throw my suit and I'll go meet them. And I can sit in any meeting at any time.
Well, I tell you what,
They think it belongs.
if you do bump into him, please give him a poke in the eye for me, won't you?
I will. I'll tell me and I'll tell both of them that you said that.
Yeah, believe me.
I see people at the grocery store, man. I get out like all the time. I'll find people all the time. You sit there. Guitar, what is it, Guitar Center in Nashville?
Right. Yeah.
In Grimes, there's really good places to go, and you'll hook up and you'll see people. Julie's camera, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the same time, TJ, Nashville's had pretty much a double whammy, not only with this COVID-19, but just prior to that, you also had this hurricane go through and was damaging in a lot of ways. Did that affect?
Tornado.
Did that affect you guys in any way?
It got our street. Power was out down the street for like a week. Our cable was out, which doesn't. It sounds like we're whining, but we were out of work because we had no internet.
Our internet was out. Yes.
It took about a week, and it took about another week to get the TV up. We couldn't quality check our TV show because if there's a mistake, I start calling the network and let them know that it's not in the lineup. And so, we had trees go down, 2 houses down. We lost 3 trees, major, like 50-year-old trees down in the backyard. Man, I've been around tornadoes my whole life, being from Memphis and Mississippi. Jill has it. We do have a dirt basement. Our house was built in
Tornadoes scare me.
1920. Our basement was hand dug with shovels, and it had a gas fire, a coal furnace. And I've never taken her to the basement. And I said, "Grab the baby. I'm getting the dogs." We went to buy. We had maybe a minute before that thing hit. You could just feel it in the air, but it really tore up
I
downtown.
said, "Get me a chair to sit down in our basement because it's not exactly."
I said, "We don't have
clean as
time
I
for
want it to
chairs."
be." He got me a chair.
Grab Toda. I had to go back up the stairs in the store and get a chair.
We had
She's so
a
California.
dirt basement. Like the walls are dirt because this house was built in the 30s.
20s.
20s.
I thought it was the 30s. It's the 20s. That's what
Wow.
they said.
So it's like dirt walls and there's a cement floor. But I said, "You're getting me a chair because I'm not going to be down there in that basement." But we had to go down, and we have a 1-year-old, so of course,
You got to get to the basement, man.
it was just
That was a serious tornado.
California from California. We don't have, and we don't never tornadoes. I've ever experienced tornadoes in California, but I've experienced earthquakes, which are like a semi truck, going down, or like feeling a train go by. Like it's nothing. So experiencing this.
Well, it happened really fast. I'm a first
I don't enjoy
responder,
it.
and I've worked Hurricane Katrina down New Orleans, Mississippi, and I could tell the difference, and I could really tell. We already had one a few weeks before, and I went outside and filmed it. I did a live video at 1 a.m, and I knew it wasn't coming, but this was coming right at us, man. And it literally hit 2 houses that way. It hit in our backyard and went straight across our backyard.
But it didn't do anything to our house, thank goodness, or our cars. So we were blessed in that way.
We were.
Yes, but TJ, because he from Mississippi, he's a first responder, a firefighter. So there was like some cable lines right around the corner from us that he helped not get a house. So
There was a half a tree hanging from the power lines, and it was
trees were
arcing.
falling.
The fire truck left. I've got first responder. I've got all my gear in my truck. I have red lights on my dashboard, and I blocked off the street, got everybody to move, and I had my chief on the phone.
He told me to move your cars. This is going to fall on
Then we had like 10 minutes before that thing burned through, and it did. I've got the video. I haven't shared it yet. I sent it to Inside Edition, actually. A friend of ours is on there. But, yeah, we really lucked out, man. But, yeah, we had one tornado. We had another tornado. Then we had the COVID. They closed CMA Fest, which is bad.
Yeah, they canceled it.
Yeah,
Here.
so they're trying to kill Nashville, and we're trying to keep it alive.
What TJ did though was awesome though. During the storm, like of course after it had stopped, a couple of our neighbors didn't have power for a few days. So he got extension cords because he's so handy. We have extension cords. So he had 2 extension cords going to 2 of our neighbors just so they would have power.
We're powering up the street.
He was. It was really sweet of him
You're
to do
supposed to
that.
be a good neighbor, man. You get blessed if you bless people.
Exactly. Now, Jill, I understand about hurricanes. Wouldn't want to bar of it myself. I really wouldn't. But what's the early warning system like?
Well, of course you have to follow the news, and TJ has a wonderful app on his phone. I don't follow the app. I follow the news. And they do give you, on the news, they tell you very specifically, you know, what time it's going to hit your area. So it's either a watch or a warning. And, of course, those are two totally different things.
They can tell.
And then, of course, we have a siren in Nashville, of course, that goes off.
They have sirens when it's within a couple minutes, but they have television. But I've been trained to read the radar and look for hook echoes and wall clouds and all this stuff. So I can look at it. I can look at it, check the wind velocity, and I can kind of tell where it's going. And then you look for rotation, of course. So I kind of knew that one. I actually took a screenshot of it. I said, "This is so close to our house." We were in the basement. I was taking screenshots as it went over. But most of the time, you can tell if it's not, and you can tell. When you come in from Memphis into Nashville, you hit a little mountain that's cut through. It lifts up when it does that, and then it skips over us and goes south of Brentwood or north to downtown. Like you saw the video, it went through downtown. This one decided to keep going straight. I've never seen that happen. I've been here 6 years, there are a lot of storms. I've never seen it. So you can't play with the tornado, but it's really exciting to watch. And the air, when it gets really quiet.
Nothing's exciting about tornadoes.
If it quits raining. If you start hearing hail, then that usually means there's a tornado. If it stops raining, if you can see dark clouds and all of a sudden the sky is light up above, that means it's getting sucked in.
He's way too excited about this. It's terrible. It's a horrible experience. You don't ever want to experience it. It's terrible.
Well,
because a lot of people were affected
so
really badly by it.
New Zealand, nothing like that? What do y'all have?
Well, actually, it is a kind of a coincidence, actually, because never before has Auckland ever really suffered from major tornadoes, but we are starting to get a few there, and I'm thinking maybe it's because of the urban spread, taking up things that's creating this little bit of a vortex, you know what I mean, because the city is starting to spread. It is our biggest city here in New Zealand, but now, and believe me, I'm happy I left Auckland, and I left about 20 years ago. And in that time, it started to increase and become more of a thing now. We're starting to really take notice of this. And we are trying to analyse this. Why now? Why has it started now? It could have done maybe about 50 years ago. Could have done 70 years ago. Why is it only starting majorly in the last 10 years and impacting different parts of Auckland? And believe me, Albany, for one place, I remember there, one of the big warehouses there, which is one of our major shops called the Warehouse, or the Red Shed we call it, lifted the whole roof off, and this is a huge shop.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and it's got progressively worse from there. I'm kind of, you know, in that anticipation that it's actually going to end up something like what you guys have got over there. So yeah. I'm happy to be out.
That's the thing about, you're talking about real estate and code enforcement changed it about 15 years ago. When we put our exterior walls, you got the green board, which means it's treated. You have to do what they call hurricane clips on every single board. It needs to connect again, every single board, and then in your rafters it has to be connected to. And you do OSB on the outside, which keeps it stronger than plywood. There's things you can build, and then it's also good while you're building, just go and build a safe room. A lot of people do those nowadays. Just go and build, not so much for a burglar, but you can build a really tight room with steel walls or even cinder blocks with rebar. Yeah, when we ever actually do build a house and we don't have a basement, I would definitely build that.
We actually have storm windows too, on our windows in the front of our house.
You know, I get it. I really get it. I do. But at the same time, you know, unfortunately, I'm not the type of guy that would put himself in Hurricane Alley at all. And I've spoken to a number of people that have come from Hurricane Alley, artists, if you know what I mean. And I just asked them one question. Why would you?
I know.
That's great. My son went to college down in Fort Lauderdale in Boca Raton, Florida. And I went down there and got him in his first condo. And he was going to college at FAU. And I had a big four-wheel drive. And I drove, I took him a couch and a gas grill and all kind of whatever he needed. Well, there was 3 storms. There was 2 tropical storms and 1 hurricane. It just blown through. We were down the Florida Turnpike. And we got down to South Florida. And I had an African-American guy with me, about 6'2", a good friend of mine from Memphis. And he was freaked out, man, because we literally saw the outside of the hurricane as we went in. And we stopped at the gas station and talked to the guy, and he said, do not go into Florida. Go over to Panama City and ride it out. And we had to go, and they'd already evacuated Panama City. And They gave us really good rates on rooms. They got on the second floor so I could see out there. And I went out there while the palm trees were bending. It was kind of exciting, man. But I don't know.
You know,
It's, when you're in that environment, I don't think you'd be as scared as you would thinking about it. But when you're in the environment, something about the earth and the winds and nature, it kind of gets me excited.
That was before me.
Yeah.
So I would have said, what are you doing?
yeah,
I would have said, no.
TJ,
This isn't happening.
TJ, I think we've all seen Twister, all right? That's enough.
I love that movie. The night it
Literally.
came out, I saw it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it sort of leaves an impression, much like Jaws did back in the day as well.
Jaws
if you
is
know what I
No,
wonderful.
Jaws freaks me out, man.
Jaws is great.
Snakes and wasps, man. I'm the biggest chicken you'll ever see in your life. But,
He is.
but I can handle nature. I can handle stuff like that.
Jaws is nature.
Well,
I used to go swimming, and when that movie came out, do you remember? Did you go to the movies with your family and you saw that
oh
when
yeah,
it came out?
oh yeah, believe me, I did.
I remember swimming at the YMCA in the deep end.
In the pool.
I was so brave. I was a little kid, and I'd jump off the high dive, and I wasn't scared of that. But when I'd get in that deep end, I'd swim so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, that shark's going to get me.
I believe you, I do. But yet again, did you see the movie Arachnophobia?
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Spiders.
Yeah, now,
Yeah.
we have a thing, and a lot of those spiders in there were called Avondale spiders from Avondale in Auckland, and believe me, they're about the size of a dinner plate.
Oh my gosh.
You know, to be very honest with you.
Are they poisonous?
No, we actually,
No.
the only,
Big fuzzy spiders.
yeah, no, the only thing that's poisonous around here is just me. Believe me, we're very creature friendly. We really, really are. Well, you know, I think the worst thing we have here is a daddy longlegs, really, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's the caterpillar.
The caterpillar.
Yeah.
Caterpillar.
It's a spider.
Yeah. Apparently, it's the caterpillar. But other than
What is
that,
that?
I tell you what, I'll get the girls to send you a video of it or a picture of it, a little bit of research. You know, wonderful little creatures, they really, really are. Much like the hoo-hoo grub. Are you familiar with the hoo-hoo grub?
No.
Oh, well, I tell you what, and this is a bit funny actually. Have you heard of a caterpillar? You must be familiar with a caterpillar, right?
Yes.
So it's like a grub.
Yeah, well, you know, this is kind of like a caterpillar on steroids. It's big, it's white, and what you do with it actually is when you put the live body in your mouth, rip off the head, don't eat the head, it's yucky, but it's,
Oh.
when you crunch down on it, it's like eating creamy peanut butter.
You know what else tastes like creamy peanut butter? Creamy peanut butter.
Creamy peanut butter does, yeah, it does. But the indigenous folks of New Zealand, the Maori, actually still use it as a delicacy today.
I can see that.
Holy cow.
I would do it, but I can see that.
Yeah, I tell
I
you what.
like that. I always like to go to Louisiana go to New Orleans because there's so many grill. One of my favorite foods to cook on the grill is alligator. I like alligator sausage, which is like an Italian sausage, or I guess like a bratwurst. And the alligator tail is pretty good. It's a little chewy, but the alligator sausage is really good. I've cooked kangaroo. When I was at barbecue, we had a barbecue restaurant in Memphis, and we had a cooking show on the Fox News affiliate. I did a cooking segments. And one time somebody shipped us some kangaroo and said, I bet you want to cook this on the grill. And I did, but it was so lean. It wasn't, but it was beautiful. And they sell it in these little vacuum packs. Have you had kangaroo before?
No. You're
I
a
would
good
never shoot a kangaroo and eat it.
No.
It was kind of fun.
That's sad.
I got to be honest with you. I would rather have a bit of gumbo.
Okay, yeah, gumbo's a lot better.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny. And the news guy that's from Louisiana, and we had good shows, and we cooked on the grill, and we hopped off camera after we started eating it. But yeah, people eat the funniest things. That's funny that people eat grub. I think on Survivor, I saw them eating those that you're talking about. I think I remember that story.
I'll get Barbara to send you a video of it just to show you that I'm not pulling your leg, literally, which is rather humorous actually. But we have a thing here between New Zealand and Australia, as you might appreciate between America and Canada. You have a little bit of an ice hockey thing, I think it is. You know, a little bit of banter going on. Between us here in New Zealand and Australia, we have the same sort of thing over rugby union. We have the All Blacks, they have the Wallabies, we were world champions for almost forever actually, and it was only
Nice.
it was only Mother Nature that stopped us being world champions again. Literally, in Japan, they got stopped by a typhoon on the night. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we would have dominated yet again. But unfortunately, all sorts of rules and regulations come into it, and we came second best, which was not so good.
We have a good friend that's in Australia, Gus and Marty, his name.
That's Wkly.
Wkly. They've been to our house a couple of years ago with my friend at Fox. They were really good friends, and they came to Nashville to check it out, and we just had the best time. I played a lot of Mo Haggard and George Jones in the backyard. We had a big cookout, and it was really fun. We talk constantly. I'm sure he'll see this and comment on it. So if you know it's a guy from Gus, he always watches everything we do, and we've Skyped with him before down there too. Hey, I don't know how much time we have left. Tell me what's going on with filmmaking in New Zealand. Are they filming anything? Because Tyler Perry did a cool thing in Atlanta. We've had 7 meetings with Tyler Perry about buying. I had 3 more scripts, plus we have Mark Grisham's book that we put into a script. And what they're doing is he bought a depot, an army depot, and he's going to house all the grips, all the filmmakers, everybody. When you go on set to a movie, you have to live there for, say, a month and a half while they film the whole entire thing. They film a lot of really cool movies. We've watched a lot of movies on Netflix and Amazon, and they're shot down in New Zealand.
Yeah, believe me, we absolutely love making movies here in New Zealand. We really, really do. And we have absolutely some of the most pristine countryside in the world, if you know what I mean. So you could absolutely make the best of it. You remember Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, well, about an hour and a half from where we are right now is actually the original set of Hobbiton. You can go and have a look around, go and see the party tree, the hobbit holes, everything like that.
Oh, sweet.
And believe me, well, I went to university with Peter Jackson. Well, I can't call him Sir Peter, but I he's a friend of ours. So, but I went to university with Peter Jackson, and believe me, crazy kind of guy back in those days. You should see some of his very first movies. You'd be very surprised. But believe me, absolute genius in his own right. He really, really is. Part of New Zealand being Actors Wkly that deals with all the actors and everything, all the unions, lumps it all together. The government wants to bring more people into New Zealand to make more movies. So if you're interested in doing so,
incentives, yeah,
please communicate with us. Let us know. We might be able to help in some small way to be able to create something here in New Zealand. And believe me, we would love to be a part of it.
Yeah, man, I'd love to do something with New Zealand filmmaking because, like I said, we find it. And I like movies, and I'll find out that they were made like in Washington State or they're made in Canada because I like the woods and the trees. And but New Zealand, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful down there. Some of the scenery that they have down there. And the movies. And their stories are really good too. We like it. And then the actors, sometimes they'll have like an American actor that'll go all the way to New Zealand to star in a movie. And I think that's a really neat concept. But what does that say about American filmmaking? It's like, well, hold on. What's going on down in New Zealand? I'd like to really check that out and check our options.
What is the best time of year in New Zealand to be outdoors and like mild, moderate weather?
Well, I'd say about February, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, February, March would be, an ideal time. Would love to be able to show you a little boutique town down the South Island called Queenstown. Now, down there, you never know who you might run into, actually. Shania Twain owns property down there. Kevin Costner goes there all the time. Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise. They're all, it's a kind of place where they run away from their friends and take their mates.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Take their friend, their close friends. And believe me, you never know who you might bump into there, actually. But you don't want to bump into me. Well, you see, if you bump into me, I'll throw you off a bridge. We have a thing.
We like Keanu Reeves a lot. He seems like a really nice person. I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, he is.
I've met Tom Cruise before, but he was filming The Firm in Memphis. But I've never seen Keanu Reeves. I really would like to see him. And I've never seen Shania Twain in Nashville. Like ever, I see everybody.
I saw her when.
Never have I ever.
Really?
Okay.
You saw over at the corner of Natchez and West End.
Okay.
I thought that you saw her. I thought she was at the corner. She was by the P.F. Chang's. I thought you had seen her before. That's so
We're
funny.
doing an interview right now.
I know.
I know, it's all
It's like
good.
the actress that we can't recall.
I recognize people when I see them out. Like, and I saw Jewel.
No, that wasn't.
I don't know.
Okay,
We're gonna
okay.
get-
Well,
we're gonna get this.
yeah, no, we have a thing down in Queenstown.
We're going to get you a button.
We have a thing down in Queenstown called bungee jumping. And, well, seeing you're not Australian, we'll attach the bungee.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Have you ever bungee jumped?
Many times. I know AJ
Really?
Hackett. I know AJ. Again, I'll get some video to you with it. You'll be absolutely stunned. It's wonderful fun. It really, really is. And
Holy cow.
we kind of like, a bit of adrenaline kind of thing here in New Zealand. We like to have a lot of fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, I'm only 21. All right? I'm only 21, but...
Well, you helped me be about 3 years, so.
Fair enough too. I'm even an accomplished skydiver. I like to, have a lot of fun. And at the same time, if you do come to New Zealand, have you heard of a Zorb?
Is that where you are in Missoula?
A Zorb, Z-O-R-B.
Oh, okay.
It's a big round plastic ball, and we alcohol's involved really. You need some beforehand, you need some afterwards as well, I got to be honest with you. But we put you in a big clear plastic ball and roll you down a hill.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen that.
I've seen videos of that. I don't know why people do that. That is
Okay,
insane.
I just found this.
Yeah.
What is this like?
That is so insane.
Oh, it's Kelly Bray. Go ahead.
TJ's trying to look up the actress that's from New Zealand of somebody we know has interviewed
Oh, see.
previously.
Okay.
So have you done that? The plastic ball down the hill?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now the reason
Oh my
why
gosh.
I say a bit of alcohol is, well, the more you have of this, once you get in the ball, we'll put some runners in front of you, and well, the look on their faces as you run over top of them is priceless.
I've seen that. Have you never watched that?
I've seen it. It's
Okay.
just, I would feel like, oh my gosh, like your brain is just swishing around in there.
If you can, do you stand up or you lay down?
Best to lay down actually. A bit
So you're
of
like a
water.
pig in a blanket.
Yeah, no,
Right down the hill.
bit of water in there makes it, slippery in there so that you can move around.
Tumble.
Yeah, well, maybe a little extra water by the time you get out.
I
I've got
used
to
to
be
skip that
honest.
one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never.
At least the ends of it open.
Yeah,
One of TJ's really good friends teaches skydiving lessons.
Okay.
What do
He
you
does the
call it?
tandems, yeah. He was a rappel master in the Marines and a sniper instructor. We're both actors. We've been in movies together. One of my closest friends ever. Matter of fact, I see him a lot when I go back home. And that's what he does full time. He's a U.S. Marshal, but he does this on the weekends and he jumps out. And his email is one life to live, one life to lose, one life to risk. That's his website. It's Alex Coker.
And now he actually skydives with his dog.
He's got a dog.
yeah, I can see
Yeah, the
that.
dog. He has a big dog. The dog lost it in the back seat.
I can see that. Look, I've been doing it for a number of years as well. I started in the Air Force here in New Zealand when I was part of that, and just sort of took a liking to it and joined a number of clubs up and down the countryside wherever I went. And, well, right now I'm part of Rotorua actually, which is a traditional Maori city. It's a tourist city here in New Zealand, just about an hour away from where we are. And believe me, you are familiar with Yellowstone National Park, right?
Yes.
With the geysers and the bubbly muds and all that sort of stuff. That's what Rotorua is like, the whole city. Literally, you can see it
Beautiful.
everywhere. It really is. In a place called Hell's Gate. Brilliant. It really, really is. Gives you a bit of culture as well, actually. It really does have So, guys, I'm going to have to move on. I've been told that we've gone a little bit over time right now. But
Definitely.
I got to thank you guys so much for joining me here at Galaxy, and would be absolutely elated if you continue to send me some really, really absolutely talented people. Jill would love that.
Thank you.
At the same time, TJ, pleasure to meet you, my friend. Let's do this again. Let's talk a bit more about real estate. Let's talk a bit more about hurricanes and everything that's happening. But please, 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 surreal times, stay safe, won't you?
You all too. Yeah.
Y'all stay safe too. Thanks so much, Bob, Barbara.
Don't go.
You're a great night.
Don't go
Yes,
anywhere.
you are.
Yeah, don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to do a couple of more things.
Okay.
But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 12 after 1 o'clock, 19 degrees. I win. No, Barbara wins.
Yeah, I won.
She chooses 19. You're right here at Galaxy. Good afternoon.